Hey everybody, welcome back. Welcome to VMworld Europe. Obviously, we've got a lot of things going on. I am Mike Letschin. I'm back again for our vExpert Daily. We've been doing this, I believe we talked about for 7 years now. So we've done 1 or 2 of these along the way. Really, it's just a chance to kind of kick off the vBrownBag sessions here in the community theater and kind of just chat, figure out what's going on, things you should see, things you should check out. So as always, we'll start with some introductions. So name, who you are, what you do, favorite ice cream. I really don't care. Just introduce yourself.
All right, my name is Hans Kraaijeveld. I am a EUC consultant from the Netherlands, and I like strawberry very much.
Strawberry, okay.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Chris Porter. I work for, I'm infrastructure architect, working for a bank in London, UK.
Is there another London?
Is there another London? There probably is in the US somewhere.
There's a New London, Connecticut.
New London, okay. Well,
and there's a New London, Connecticut. It's the only London I know.
So this is Old London.
Old London.
He's in Old London, yeah.
Okay. Old school London.
Yeah.
I don't know. An ice cream I try and avoid, otherwise my 4-year-old then wants some. So, yeah.
That's a problem.
Good reason. I'm Tony Foster, Dell EMC. Main focus is on EUC virtualization and HPC. Favorite ice cream is Neapolitan because I get 3 flavors in one.
Nice.
Oh, interesting choice there. So I think we'll kind of start off with, obviously we just finished up the keynote. There was a little bit of flash to it, I guess, if you want to call it that, with the VR demo.
Yeah.
It seemed very networking focused, I thought. What do you guys think?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I think
this is going to be a tough panel.
There we go. Done. No, I think on the VR stuff, I mean, you said that was kind of interesting. I think that was really cool. Like they were kind of throwing things up at the beginning, and then add a news demo, and just I mean, the problem with VR is you kind of got to go and watch it. I mean, it's a bad thing to have a talk and then go, don't listen to us, go and watch the video.
Yeah,
but,
by the way, we can do this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go and watch the video, honestly, because that was pretty cool. Like in that VR environment and jumping into the cloud, and it was jokes and it was kind of cringeworthy a little bit, but it was cool.
Man,
I love Pat standing, waiting for something to happen. And Alan Renouf was on the stage. Brilliant.
I think we missed it. I almost whooped when they did the VMware Cloud on AWS, added that node with DRS, and all the VMs went up in the air. And I'm like, come on, this is awesome. But networking.
For sales, this will work very well because it's a really nice visual interpretation of what we're actually doing.
Yeah.
So if you want to help somebody understand what's going on, it could be very
for a standard customer, NSX can be a bit confusing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a little. Yeah.
Significantly, yes.
Like, don't worry, you don't need networking. But you need networking. But not that networking, just networking.
And don't forget, you need security as well.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, and it doesn't come in a box either.
Or we get the last slide or last few slides where it's like, this one slide tells the entire picture of VMware.
Yes.
Like,
easy, done.
Really? Doesn't. I've never met a sales guy who said one slide they could get through that.
I did think it was interesting towards the end when they were talking with the guys from the farming communities and stuff. They went, "Yep, we're completely virtualized our networking, but we bought some switches." Okay, well, you had some hardware. I mean, you're like, how do these things talk to each other?
Yeah, we're 100% software. We did virtualized everything. But with our switches.
Yeah.
What? Like.
Yeah, wireless.
And the question I had there is not to poo-poo it too much, because it was really interesting, but they're like, yeah, we didn't have $20,000 to buy switches, so we went NSX. I was like, what?
Because that saved you money?
Yeah, the story kind of...
fell apart
but then software, I guess, if they're a non-for-profit, then maybe that's easy to give away than hardware. You have to go and buy hardware. So
did they say how long her software as a service site had been... She'd been doing it? I might have missed that.
No,
but she's like,
no.
It's been 100% uptime since they put it up. Did they put it up Tuesday?
No, I mean, yeah, exactly.
Like, how long has it been going?
I do like it as a typical
Are the security
customer,
patches good on it at that point? Is my next question.
It
hasn't been rebooted yet. That's like, yeah.
There's no such thing as 100% uptime. Let's face it. You can't do that.
No, I didn't. No. She did represent a typical customer, because I think they wanted her to sort of say, doesn't matter where it lives, and I just want uptime. But she went, I want it in the cloud. It's like, well, hang on, why do you care where it is? You just want it up. Like, so, no, I want it in the cloud and up. No, just get rid of the cloud. It doesn't matter where it is.
Just make it go up.
Yeah, just make it. Well, yeah.
I'm going to change the subject.
Yeah.
It's going down rabbit hole that I don't think I want to touch at all. So obviously we've got Solutions Exchange getting set up. I want to have you guys, any customers or vendors that you really want to see in there?
I actually already went there real quick.
Okay.
Long and VSI, obviously. I love the product. I love what they're doing. The fact that you take all the guesswork out of sizing an environment. I mean, how can you not?
It does make life a lot easier.
Yeah, but help me explain that. I mean, there's so many people who just assume, you can just put, 100 VMs on one server, and it'll be fine. It'll be perfect, great.
It will
Super
be.
performance.
With the right server and the right VMs.
But how do you know? How do you test that?
You don't guess? I guess.
You just like a really big server and then hope they're really small VMs.
So we're still guessing.
I just put more flash in it, right? That's what Pierre said.
Or a video card.
That's what Pierre said. That's a t-shirt.
That's a hashtag somewhere.
What about you? Anybody in the...
So there's a few I want to kind of go and look at, but I think I'd be interested to go and talk to Commvault. So we're a Commvault customer, and just that's not going to change anytime soon. We have a managed solution. It is far better than what we used to have. But if you look at the guys like Rubrik and Veeam as well, there's much better ways or much, granular ways you can use what you back up, and we don't kind of get that at the moment from Commvault. And I'm just wondering if it's the managed service and we just haven't asked, or if it can't do that. So it's kind of drilling into that Commvault piece. One person I'm really disappointed is not here is HashiCorp. So I really really enjoy Terraform, and I'd like to go and talk to them because their Terraform are doing more, or HashiCorp are doing more enterprise stuff, and they've talked about doing more because enterprise and enhancing their plugins for VMware because it's fairly basic. So kind of if you can use Terraform to build infrastructure for AWS and Azure, but also your on-premises stuff, it kind of starts to tie that all together without necessarily having to put VRAR and all these things on top. You can kind of start from a simple kind of JSON-like file.
Make that a little bit easier.
Yeah, exactly. So, lots of other people, I'm sure.
So you obviously saw them in Vegas when we were there. So is there anybody that's here that you know of that wasn't there that you want to see? I haven't walked through yet, so
I've done a quick walkthrough as well. I haven't seen anyone, any stands that weren't there that were in Vegas.
Because sometimes we do
versa.
get, especially the smaller ones, you get a lot of different smaller vendors here than what you get in the US.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether it's, some of them obviously European based or someplace non-US based.
And I'm actually looking forward to walking through that section. I didn't have a chance to dart through there on my way over, so.
I think that's one of the things we saw in the US. There were a lot more smaller guys, but they were all doing that like 10% on the top. It wasn't like they were this phenomenal product.
Yeah.
They were just giving you that extra little bit that you're like, okay, so you're waiting to get bought. Got it. Who are you trying to get bought by? Okay, now I understand. Now I see what you're trying to do.
You're here to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think when we talk vendors, one of the things that some people mentioned from the keynote was now you got OVH, you got IBM, you got obviously the Dell EMC cloud side of things, all that they're partnering for these live migrations. How do we see that working?
So that's HVX, isn't it? So was that announced in the US? Because a lot of the stuff it's announced. Okay, because
one of the guys that's on that, so I had dinner with one of the guys last night, and he was like, I'll be glad when we finally get to talk about this because now I can actually talk about this.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think as techies, it's going to be interesting to kind of get under the bonnet of that. We're not C-level. Oh, wicked! You can just move things around. It's like, well, people have been saying you can just move things around for years.
Yeah,
you can't. There's so many caveats and all sorts of things. And do you want to do that?
I can make a video show anything you want.
Yeah. That's a different topic, but
Back on that one again.
You're back on that one. So I think it'll be interesting. But I noticed the caveat there to say that it's IBM Cloud and OVH. So there's something they have to do to
NSX,
integrate with it.
It's NSX, that's why.
Yeah.
So, it's got to be.
You're not getting that back end on AWS anytime soon.
And the thing
At least not that we know of.
No.
No, I think the one thing I wonder with these as well, with NSX and these, if you're doing live migrations, you're doing vMotion into these things, you're stretching layer 2, and layer 2 still needs to break out somewhere. So if you move that into a cloud, then is that all your traffic then routing back and out, unless you've deployed NSX and you've distributed that routing across everything. As I say, as a techie, you start digging into it, and there's so many bits.
Exactly.
And you're like, this isn't just about moving it.
Yes.
But it'll be interesting to dig into.
So now this is, I think, what, the 5th year we've been in Barcelona, I think, in a row. So was there anything over the last couple of days? I'm assuming you guys didn't get in this morning.
No, true.
Did you, any events or outside festivities that, wow, you got that excited about it?
Yeah, I guess.
What kind of shoddy gear we working with over here?
Just put this back here.
So we both were at the hackathon last night.
Okay. How'd that go? People in the US loved it, so.
I think I don't even think it's one of those things you ask, how does it go? You just go, and some people will do nothing to demo, some people will do one line, some people will just drink a lot of beer. Most people do that, and you just have fun, and it was good. We came third, which is cool. So we were just learning Clarity, so the VMware sort of standard open source UI. We had a team. I think we became known as the Clarity experts, where people expected that we had some experience in Clarity, and we were a team of 0 Clarity. We were all like, "This looks cool." So we want to play with it, we'll give it a shot. But there wasn't someone there that was like, yeah, I know Node, and yeah, it was like, no, it's just everyone was, yeah, it looks good. But really interesting with Clarity. I mean, you see that UI is now the HTML5 UI in vCenter and in VRops, and it's sort of, and it's nice, it's good, great, they're adopting those things. But there were 2 teams doing Clarity dedicated, and then I think there were 2 or 3 other teams who had Clarity just something they threw on the top of something we were doing completely differently. So
just to get at a UI.
Yeah, exactly. So it was really pervasive throughout the whole hackathon, I think. So, and I think that's great to see. It shows how easy it is to use. I mean, it's not easy because it's still.
But you didn't take forever to figure it out.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
We had a couple hours, so we had to do it within that time frame. And there were a couple of teams that did some large piece of preparation, but teams like ourselves, we basically did a Power CLI based VMware Horizon health check with a couple of guys that absolutely never script anything. So it was a fantastic learning experience, and we had a load of fun.
Yeah,
I mean, the whole room laughed.
Yeah,
very, very much.
I think that's the key for me, is just to say to people, the messages just come along, and then it's sort of, if you're a developer or you're interested in this, or you're just an admin, whatever, just anyone come along.
Or you just have a brilliant idea which you want to convey and have a couple of coders work on it.
You don't even have to have that and have a team of coders. Like we had marketing people, we had customer, we had like just a real blend of people that would just came together. And as you say, if people have never scripted before, you get the guys that run around and go, well, I know this and that's code. It's not, we've only got 3 hours, just leave me alone, I need to code. It's like, well, this is how you install Visual Studio Code, this is how you get Git working, like these kind of, all this kind of.
Was there a lot of inter-team working as well, or pretty much just your group and individually?
Yeah, so that's the setup, your kind of individual team. Yeah. So I think there was a lot of Wi-Fi stealing and interruption and things like that. That was plugging things in, but
even some password resetting, I think. Yeah. Or we suspect anyway.
But one of the really interesting things is, because it's been announced now, one of the environments you could use was VMware Cloud on AWS. So in the hackathon. So they had William Lamb's got lots of blogs and things about the machines he's built, and they carry around, and they had to bring Supermicros over on the plane and all that environment. But you also could go to VMware Cloud on AWS. And I think that's going to enable them to look at delivering hackathons in other events, potentially. I think that's what they're looking at. So, because it's a constraint if you've got to take 8 Supermicro servers, or, like all the wireless, and you've got to have someone there that knows how to all hooks together and works, whatever.
And something will break.
And something will break. Yeah. So you can't deliver that easily and expand that. But if you,
it's probably a good use case for the AWS side of things.
Yeah.
From the enterprise side, you guys all deal with your customers on it, or internal for you. Do you see it? Who do we think that's actually going to get used by at this point? Small to medium, just trying to get in? Is it only going to be large enterprise?
I don't think so, because I read that it exists in a 4-node cluster. Is it working? Yeah.
Yeah.
So for a small customer, no, this wouldn't fit.
Okay.
The amount of VMs to fill a 4-node vSAN cluster.
Significant size.
It's significant. So
for us, absolutely. I mean, if it had come out a year ago and it was in Europe and it's coming, but it's only in one availability zone. We have 2 availability zones in London. If they get that right, the vSAN stretch cluster across it, I'd be that's where I'm going. Because we're in the middle of doing a data center relocation at the moment. And I'm buying hardware, tech refresh, putting that all in. And I'm just so bored of buying hardware and rack diagrams.
Let them handle the hardware.
Yeah, I mean, the great thing is, and where the model right is, you get pretty much full access to vCenter. You can move a VM there. You don't have to change how you operate or do anything with it. You can just start using it, and you can scale it. I mean, that right click, I mean, they talk about elastic DRS, but the right click resize, add a node to a cluster. I mean, we all know how long it takes to get a UCS blade or a Dell and get that patched, and then the right VLANs on the trunk, and you've got to test it and get it up to date and in the cluster and change control and whatever. Right click, that, I mean, it's pretty cool, and I really think in the next couple of years we'll be adopting it.
So doing things like adding a host that quick, though, I always love when people are like, "This is a great feature." How often do you add a host?
Yeah,
I mean, very valid. Yeah,
it's not something that you're doing once a week, even. I mean, this is one of those things.
Not.
If you are, you really architected that wrong to begin with.
Yeah.
If you're doing it,
or you're expanding very fast.
Yeah. And there are people that could be, but
when you do
not time that quickly.
But when you do go to add it, it's not 3 people and all these other and procurement or whatever. It's just right click done. You simplify. You take that out. So yeah, I mean, we tend to add hosts fairly infrequently, but then we're also robbing one cluster to move other things, especially with the data center move, and we're changing hardware. It's just
Right now you're moving a lot just because of what's going on.
So, but I think I think it's cool. I think the message has to be right, because it's not, you're not moving to AWS. We're just moving to a vSphere environment in an AWS data center.
Sitting in AWS data center.
And they talk about, you're next to AWS and you've got line speed, whatever. We're in Europe. Line speed is pretty much everywhere because it's not the US. We don't have those geographical distances. So if I want, I can get a millisecond connection into an AWS center in London from my data center, and I can put direct connect in, and I can have line speed. So what?
We can still get direct connect in the States.
You can get direct connect, yeah.
We do have that capability.
Really?
It's amazing. And most likely the data centers are also still sitting in the same spot that AWS is too.
Yeah.
So
true. Very true.
Well, so exactly that. Even more so. So in the US, it's the same. So you're like,
it's pretty much the same scenario at that point.
So you
other than maybe some on-prem stuff, but for the most part.
Or hurricanes.
Yeah.
Those tend to. I mean, just don't put your data center in South Florida.
Yeah.
Good plan.
Or Houston, Texas.
Or the Caribbean, for that matter.
Yeah, definitely not the Caribbean.
There's actually quite a large one in Curacao, I think.
Yeah, there was. Yeah,
It still is. Big blue building, if I'm
There's
not
quite
mistaken.
a few in Miami too. Like I know guys, like we have a couple customers that are big data center shops in Miami.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
In the basement or? I
haven't talked to them this week. So.
Probably in the basement then.
Well, they may have started in the basement and just raised it up.
Yeah.
Everybody I've talked to so far, that I have lots of friends and family that are in that area, and everyone power just keeps kind of going up and down, up and down, up and down on them. So hopefully their data center is designed better than that.
Let's just hope they're safe. I mean,
yeah, so far everybody has been that I've talked to, so that's good. Only people that we haven't is you're not reaching anybody in Cuba right now. That's
Really?
My best friend's Cuban, and she hasn't been able to reach any of her family.
Ooh.
Really, one or two people, but that's it. So that one's tough. But so on the AWS stuff, on a lighter topic, what do you think?
So I definitely see it being one of those things that's adopted quite a bit, and I see startups adopting it quite often.
Even with the scale?
Even with the scale. I mean, you think about it, you're a startup, and I have to have IT. Well, no, not really. I can let Amazon deal with it.
So this is, I hate to use the word traditional for AWS, but this is kind of AWS, not VMware Cloud on AWS.
Well, I can see both, because I can see larger startups or startups inside of organizations going there and not having all of the overhead to manage. And okay, I've got my admin, he's going to sit there and run my virtual environment for me. But but he doesn't have to sit there and procure servers. He doesn't have to do all of that. He can sit there and actually innovate.
Well, you mentioned the 4 nodes for the cluster, but in all reality, even for a small startup, you're going to have 3 or 4 nodes anyway.
Yeah.
You might not fill them,
You might
but
not
you're
have
probably
nodes.
going to have 3.
Yeah, you
at a
might not have
minimum,
nodes that are
really.
that
I mean,
costly.
who puts a cluster out really
Yeah,
with less than that?
Yeah.
Unless it's a branch office or
But they're
something.
big
for the
ass
most part.
nodes. They're big nodes. And so you might not, in terms of the cost piece of the startup, you might start with 4 nodes, but you might not start with something that big.
Yeah.
I mean, they're, 10 terabytes a server,
Yeah, exactly.
36 cores,
I haven't
half
seen the
a
pricing
terabyte.
on it either. I think that.
So the pricing is out. The pricing looks expensive when you look at it, but then you work out, I think if you work out per VM, it's roughly similar to running the same amount of EC2. I think someone did a comparison maybe with Azure.
That doesn't make it any cheaper.
No. But what it means
Last
is,
time I did those numbers,
Yeah.
that wasn't.
but I think
so
what
much cheaper
what
to
it
go
means
on-prem.
is you look at it and it's a big number. You go, yeah, but these things, whether you put them in Azure or AWS or even on premises, when you actually add all of that up, because they're providing a price which is the hardware, the software, the data center work. A lot of people don't take the time to put all those things
power.
together, so they
The heating,
underpower.
the cooling, yeah.
So you
And the
kind of
cooling.
look at it and go, well, I can buy a server for a lot cheaper than that. I mean, we get that. Like, I don't want a VM, I want to buy a server. It's much cheaper. Okay, but how are you going to rack that? Who's going to run and manage that? What about your logging, your security, all those
Yes.
kind of things on top of it? So I think it's a big price, but when you break it down, actually, it's about right. But it's to be proven.
So over the next few days, obviously there's different sessions and things. Is there anything that you think somebody should make sure they go take a look at? Is there a session? Is there some topic that is of explicit interest?
Yeah, I think there's a lot going on in the world of graphical acceleration. NVIDIA has been king for quite some time, especially with their new grid cards and the 3rd generation already coming out, up to 24 gigs on a single card for the real heavy CAD users. And I'm really curious to see if AMD is coming up with an answer. Because they had a part one, the old S7150, but it has its limitations. So I'm really looking forward to seeing them on the stand as well, to see if they finally are coming up with an answer to that.
Okay.
I'd love to see that.
I think, sort of touching back onto the VMware Cloud and AWS topic, there is a session, I think after this, and Ian Massingham is doing that, who is like the AWS chief evangelist, and he's really good. Like he's a Brit, so I think before he kind of got into that position, he was in our sort of geo in a way, so I've seen him talk a few times, and he's talking about, I know we talked about line speed and we kind of like dismissed it a little bit, but some of the integrations, and I'm keen to see actually where because they've talked about, it's not just about line speed and you're close to, there are going to be some crossovers where they're actually going to start integrating these things, and S3 and EC2 and volumes and those kind of things, and also some of the higher level
So it'll
services.
be one more console to manage when you're looking at
Yeah,
of course.
So I'm keen to see that. I'm keen to look at, and not just me, I think people should go and see that, because that's the next stage. Well, one of the things for us, looking at the reason I like VMware Cloud and AWS is it's not a cul-de-sac. So in the past, I've seen VMware Cloud, vCloud Air as kind of a dead end. Like, yeah, you can lift and shift and move those things, but what do you do after that?
Right.
Whereas with moving it to VMware Cloud on AWS, you move those things there, and then you've got that integration to go, okay, well, I can just pluck some web servers out, or I can start using RDS as my database piece, and then gradually start that. So to me, it does feel like it makes sense to move to. So I'm keen to see what that next step is. And I think I'll be interested to see some of the NSX stuff in integration with Pivotal and the Cloud Foundry stuff. I'd be interested to see the PKS, not the right initials, it is like Pivotal Container Service, but with its
NSXT, you mean?
Yeah, NSXT with those pieces. So I think that'll be really interesting to see.
You guys notice that we're getting more and more acronyms from VMware now? They
HVX?
used to just name things.
Yeah.
Now it's, here's one more acronym.
So that's the new thing. So it was rename, and then everything became vRealize.
Which was a great name. Never mind.
And then now we seem to be going to just acronyms.
Acronym, yeah. I feel like I'm in the military again.
Well, it's easier to change those because all you have to do is keep the first letter right. And yeah, you can tweak the names after that.
The V, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, well, even that you changed. Yeah.
So walking through the floor, it's set up a little different here than it has the last couple of years. Both even just this space and the Solutions Exchange, and not feeling like I'm going to have to walk 7,000 miles a day just to get to anything. Some of the sessions, but hands-on labs being kind of in the space, even registration being closed. Do you think it's going to be a better experience?
For me, I don't really have a comparison since it's my first time, basically.
Oh,
So
this is your first VMworld?
it's my first VMworld ever.
Oh, that's adorable.
Isn't it? I'm patting me on the head.
How many have you been to?
This is my third. So I went to the US last year, and then I came here when it was first year in 2012.
Okay.
This is really nice to set up the VM village here, and having it so close and integrated means it's not just off the side.
I asked that because literally last year the Solutions Exchange and this would be like literally on separate sides of this convention center.
Yeah, it was like someone came up with the idea of a VM village, and then he just went through it.
We'll put it here.
Yeah, no one.
Where's everybody going to be? Over here.
Yeah.
Okay, did you have a step counter?
I'm sure I did. I don't remember. I mean, I was averaging something like 20,000 steps at least last year.
Yes.
I mean, I think I did 17.
Well, how many of you don't? Because you walked from the hackathon, didn't you? Like, it's when you go out and then you walk and you go to bed, you wake up in the morning and you're like, I've already done 3,000 steps. When did I do that?
I woke up and got coffee and it's like, oh, you've done your 30 minutes of exercise today.
Make that 7,000.
7,000 when you wake up. So yeah, that is a lot of sleep.
And when you look at the chart and it's like walking, nothing. Walking.
Yeah.
Go into a session, sit and park it.
Okay, well, guys, obviously it was great having you on. I appreciate it. And I know there's a lot more coming up on the BrownBag session today. So any closing comments?
I would jump on the hands-on lab for the VMware Cloud Media. I keep banging on about it, but because I don't know if that's going to be in the catalog going forward because it uses AWS.
Since we don't know where we'll have access to it. So.
Yeah, because you're paying for it. So I'd jump in there and play with that.
Makes sense. Well, thank you guys. Thank you guys for attending, and we will be back tomorrow with another vExpert to kick it off. And I know we've got somebody coming up right after this for the first BrownBag. Thanks, everybody.